guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's tutorial is going to be on this half-face demon look. If you want to see how to get it, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I've already done my eyebrows off camera and I cleaned them up with concealer. So I'm just grabbing some warm browns from this Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Just dragging them through my crease slightly with a fluffy blending brush, tapping off the excess and just focusing it in the socket. I do this for a little bit, building up the colour. Just do whatever you want on the eyes. You can do like a really glam eye if you wanted to. And then I just picked up some of the cooler toned shadow from the palette and just focused that mainly in the actual socket on the outer edge, just so it defines the crease nicely. And yeah, that's it basically. You can go back and forth with your fluffy brush just to blend out the edges. But yeah, that's about it. To highlight my brow bone, I'm going to be taking this Anastasia Ultimate Glow Kit. This was my first time using it and I like it. It's not the same formula as the other palette. Like, I was expecting it to be the same as my That Glow Kit, so a little bit disappointed. It's a little bit glittery, that's why I'm disappointed. It's like, it has a nice sheen, but like up close you can see little flecks of glitter, so if you're not about that life, I don't think you like it, but you know, it looks nice on the skin, you know, from far away. So here I'm just doing a winged liner. I'm doing it a bit bigger than I usually do it. So I would start off from the right sort of corner of my eye, flick it out and then go back on itself from the point and then just fill it in. You can do as big of a wing as you want, as small of a wing as you want, wherever you want. But yeah, I'm just doing a classic nice wing. And then I'm going to cover half of my face with some foundation. So I'm taking the Milani Conceal and Perfect foundation. This foundation is amazing, but this is the second lightest shade, Natural. So if you're like really fair, I don't think they'd have the right shade for you, to be honest. But it doesn't matter because my neck looks a little bit more tanned than my face. So anyway, I'm just putting that on with the flat brush and then I just blended it in with my damp beauty blender. I like doing this method, like putting it on with a flat brush first and then pushing it in with a beauty blender, because I feel like if you go straight in with the beauty blender, it just sucks up loads of product. So yeah, and then the next bit I'm just going to put on some Kat Von D Lock-It concealer just to highlight my face. Just underneath the eyes, bridge of the nose, a little bit in the forehead. And then I go ahead and blend it out with a beauty blender again. Just to do it as if you're gonna like do a full face of glam, but you're just doing like half of your face, if you get me. Making sure not to mess up the eyeliner, so being careful around the eyeliner and just pushing it into the skin. And then I just set that in place with some translucent powder. This one is from Kat Von D. And yeah, I just set all the places that I've highlighted. To highlight, I'm going to mix the snow and white sand shades and just pop them onto the top of my cheekbones. And I don't know if you can tell, it's a tiny bit glittery, but they do look really pretty. So just to, you know, take that into consideration if you are going to buy it, it's not the same as the other glow kits. Right, so I'm just going to put some blusher on. I'm going to put some MAC Melba. I'm not going to contour because there's no point really, because it's going to cover the whole thing. But this is who is inspired by Jordan Hans. I'm just basically using that as a reference picture. So the bottom bit of her mouth, that's what I'm going to do basically. So you may have seen Crispy's skull as well, where it's like a half thing like this. So I'll leave that down below if you want to learn how to do like a skull. But you could like change this if you want to. You make it more like pop art. You could make it more like, if you look like muscle or whatever. So yeah, I just like to use a white eyeliner, and I'm just sketching out where I want those holes, like where I want the deep set parts to be. So just keep looking back and forth at your reference picture. I always find it easier to look at a picture. I can't really do stuff off the top of my head. I know that sounds bad, but I just like to look at something whilst I'm doing it. And yeah, I'm just creating little holes where the flesh would be open. And yeah, you want to try and get this bit symmetrical. This is where sort of the mouth sort of opening goes back and where the teeth are naturally on your mouth. So I'm putting it on the sides of my mouth and going outwards into a circle, coming back in on itself at the bottom of my lip. And you can do like different holes, different shapes, whatever you want. And what's good about white eyeliner is you can just like rub it away if you make a mistake. It's best to do it this way rather than going in straight with a black or whatever, because usually you things out. And then I'm just sketching out like where I want the separation line to be, and a little sort of skull nose. And then I'm just doing the teeth, so I'm kind of doing the teeth where my natural teeth are, and then I'm kind of just making it up as I go along towards the back. But when you go backwards, you want to do them slightly smaller. The teeth that I'm doing, they're not that small, so you can fix it like later on. I'll fix it with the paint, so when I go around them I just fix it with the black paint. So yeah. And here I'm just doing lines up from the teeth where the sort of ridges are, where your gums will be. And you could like take teeth away if you wanted to. You could have missing teeth, which would make it look a bit more like old and, you know, gory. What am I even saying? So yeah, just doing that, going small towards the back of the mouth. And then I'm going to take some Snazaroo paints. These are water activated paints. If you are going on a night out, you want to set these babies down with some powder or something, because obviously like they're water activated. If someone sloshed you in the face with a drink, this would be gone. You know, when you're actually drinking your drink, obviously you'll get it over your lips and it would just all be running everywhere. So I would be careful, but you can buy like cream paints, but you still have to set them all down with powder. So yeah, just be mindful of that if you're going to wear this on a night out. But here I'm just going around each tooth with a very fine brush. I think this is from Bedelium Tools, it's like the eyeliner brush. And I'm just going around it with the black Snazaroo paint. And as you can see, like if I make any mistakes, I can just make them smaller, I can make them thinner or whatever. And I'm just filling in the nose. Doing the nose quite like not true to how the nose actually is. I'm just like extending one line, having the other line a bit shorter, and then I'm just making sure to fill in sort of like my inner nostril as well, where the actual my nostril like meets the line, if you get me. And yeah, just want to fill all of that in. Make sure you only outline the teeth, though you don't put the black anywhere else, just for the minute. And yeah, you should have something that looks like this. You could just go out like this if you wanted to. You don't have to do the rest of it. This would look, you know, scary enough. You could just put some blood on your lips and it'd look like you've been eating some people. So from the teeth, I just drag the black up in between the teeth where the shadow would be for the gums. And then here I'm just going to take like the excess black, also on my brush, and just go over the lines which I've made, because I am going to outline everything black. So just lightly doing that. Okay, so I chose the colour red. You could choose any colour. As you can see by Jordan, she chose pink. Red is just where I had the hand. So I'm just taking some Snazaroo red and filling in all of the gaps where the flesh would be. So I'm not filling in the actual holes, that's what's going to be the darkest bit. So just going around all of the holes, trying to avoid them. It doesn't matter if you get into them though, you can just fix it when you fill in the holes black. So just, yeah, filling all of that in. You could use a darker red, which would probably be better, look more like muscle or whatever if you're going for that look. So yeah, I just done one side off camera and then I'm just going to do this other side with you. So I took some black and I'm outlining all of these holes. For the centre part of them, I will be mixing black and red to make like a darker red. Just so like the outer edges are just the darkest, and then as you go in, you can see a bit of like bloodiness, if you get me. So you can just kind of make them any size you want beer now. You could make them bigger or smaller or whatever. Just getting the shape of them really. The thing with Snazaroo paints as well, you have to kind of like go over them like with 2 layers because they are a bit streaky because they are water activated paints, so just keep that in mind. It does take a little bit of time. But yeah, just repeating the same steps on this side, going in between sort of where the teeth are, marking out where the gum sort of ridges would be. And then I start to outline this sort of portion of my mouth where it kind of like goes in and goes back. Just outlining it at first, and then I kind of fill in sort of the outer edges more so dark, because you want the darkest bits to sort of be at the back of the mouth where the most shadows are, and then more so red at the front where the teeth are. As you can see, I'm just filling this sort of bit in black, so this is where the darkest part will be, as if it's literally like at the back of the mouth and you're kind of like looking at it head on, and you can see like there's that dimension between the front and the back. So yeah, I'm just filling in the inside of these with some dark red. And I'll use some eyeshadows and stuff now just to blend all that in because it looks a bit streaky there, but you get the gist of it. And then I'm using that same dark red just to fill in this bit, keeping it sort of lighter red towards the front of the teeth and then going darker towards the back. But I just sort of fade the black into the red just by flicking my brush back and forth, because it's still a bit wet. It'll just blend like quite well. And then I'm just using some eyeliner just to go in between the gums again and making the lines look a bit thin and creepy, going sort of backwards towards the back of the mouth. And I do this a few times because like with all the shading and stuff they kind of get lost, so you have to go back and forth, and I'm just looking back at the other side just to see if it matches. As you can see as well, I put a little highlight on my nose, so that white bit is just some white eyeliner that I just highlighted with. And then I just take some black eyeshadow and I just kind of like flick it on the same parts of the ridges of the gums, just to like add shading and add more dimension. And I'm just going underneath my chin, adding some ridges. This is just like a fluffy shader brush. And I just go on the edges as well of the actual sort of mask and just fade that as well. It's really easy to do this bit is because it's just all just a little bit of powder and just going in between the lines. here I'm just creating some shadows in between these holes, and you could make it more like technical or whatever, but this is just like the quickest way to do it. Taking some white eyeshadow here, I'm just going in on the tops of the teeth, sort of where the light would hit, so there's got to be some other sort of light source as well. It's good to have sort of like different shades of light, so this is like the powder one, and then you could use like a sponge or something and sort of tap that on if you wanted to, but I'm just using some white eyeliner just for the extra intense bits of highlight. And just kind of like mimicking the same thing that I did with the black, just by the side of the black I'm just putting the white. And I'm not being like really specific with my highlight, because there is a certain way to do it, but I'm just like kind of putting it wherever I want to. And then I'm just highlighting the teeth as well, so there's going to be highlights on the teeth. This will just make them pop a bit more, make them look as if they're coming out more. And then just going back over again with my black eyeliner. And then I'm just adding some more highlights like in between the holes, as they would cast like some highlights there and some shadows. You've got to have highlights where there are shadows, because otherwise it just wouldn't make sense. And yeah, just keep looking back and forth at what you're doing. And then I'm just taking a sponge with some face paint on it, some white face paint, just to further highlight. So I do it on my chin, and I'm doing it sort of like at the high points of the mask as well. And yeah, just stippling that on, and it sort of blends in nicely. Just going back over some more highlights with the white eyeliner. This eyeliner is from NYX, by the way, and the black one is from NYX as well. So yeah guys, that is the completed look. I hope you enjoyed and learned something, and if you're stuck for Halloween now, hopefully you will just get some inspiration from this. Hope you have a good Halloween, and I will see you on the next one. Bye guys!